welcome to the Heretic Mansion, a Shin Megami Tensei podcast. I'm your host, John,
I'm Jeff.
and it's just us two today. It's probably just
Yep.
going to be us two for a while. But
Yeah.
as you guys know, it's been a long time since our last. It's been a long time since our last episode, and
When was our last episode?
it was in December, and it wasn't really an
Damn.
episode. It was just a filler episode.
Oh yeah, was that the fan fiction one?
Yeah, it was that one where we read the fan fiction.
Poor fans.
Now, before we continue, I'd like to apologize if I sound a bit ghastly. I have a bit of a sore throat. I can hope you can still understand what I'm saying, but I don't want to let a sore throat stop me from rebooting this podcast because I've been wanting to do it for a long time, but problems with my schedule have been getting in the way.
Yeah.
We're also still trying to get another guy on here. His name is Chris, and I'm sure you all will like him, but he's also really busy.
Yeah, very busy.
Which the thing is, one of the reasons I couldn't podcast is because I was working late at night. I was working past my scheduled time pretty much every day, but now I've got a new job and I'm much more free.
Hallelujah.
So what about you,
Podcast.
Jeff? What have you been doing?
Not too much. My schedule's been a little bit random, too random. But I'm sort of chilling in there. But again, between we try to get more people on here, but through scheduling and technical issues, we weren't able to. And between you being busy, yeah, we did for a while. We were trying for a while to get more people and get this podcast better started, but just with life circumstances and everything, we weren't able to.
And another reason is, well, I didn't really have a lot of motivation for it because we weren't really getting any news. Now, one of the reasons I waited until now is because now, this past month or so, we've gotten a whole bunch of news regarding the SMT series.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll be talking about that.
Yeah, that's really what the main topic of this episode is.
Yeah.
And before we get to that, one thing I'd like to talk about is the future of the podcast. Like I said, this is kind of the reboot, so I'd like to make this a weekly thing, kind of like Cathedral of Shadows was before. It was just a whenever kind of thing, and it was really just once a month. But since my schedule is more free, and I'm the guy hosting it, since my schedule is more free, I want to make it a weekly podcast. And if I can't get Chris to join us, then I'll look to some other people from SMT Network or just other SMT communities.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we'll get Chris on because he's a hilarious guy. You'd all love him.
Yeah.
Chris is amazing.
And yeah, speaking of SMT Network, I just rejoined that group.
I haven't joined in a while, and to be honest, I don't regret it. I'm involved with a different forum right now, not an SMT one, but a wargaming one, so I already have enough forum stuff going on right now.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of terrible people in SMT Network, but there's also a lot of great people, too.
Yeah, last time I was on, there were some couple people, most of them were idiots and dickheads, but it's been a while since I've been on, so...
I also went to TaioCon, and there was an SMT Network gathering there. That was great. I met a lot of real great people there, just real nice people.
Yeah.
I really wish I knew more SMT fans in real life, but I don't, so I have to go to gatherings at cons to look for them.
Well, you're lucky in the fact that you live in the U.S. and there's a lot of... You're much more likely to meet SMT fans than, well, East Coast Canada, which is where I live. We only have one con down here. Well, we have an small anime con in the summer time in a other province, nearby province, but we don't really have a whole bunch of conventions that we can go to here. And our biggest conventions are like halfway across the country from where I am, so it's much harder.
Well, I mean, up there it's or down here it's more anime and manga. Up there it's more sci-fi and comics.
Yeah, we have a lot of like the one locally is technically sci-fi and fantasy, though there is a lot of anime, a lot of cosplaying and anime
Well, I
stuff.
mean,
It's
there's
sort of a
always
mixture
going
of
to be a bit
everything.
of both at every convention, but there's going to be more of whatever the main focus is.
We have one anime con in nearby province called Anime Maritime, and my friend's going to it this year, and she's going to tell me how good it is. So maybe next year, if it turns out to be good, I'll head down, try it out. But yeah, we don't have near as much options up here unless you live in like Ontario by Toronto and stuff like that. And then there's like humongous cons, but Canada's a big country. We have to travel quite a way.
Even though the majority of it is uninhabitable.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. What was it like? Was it like 70% of the population something like that lives within like 50 miles of the U.S. border or something like
Is
that?
there anything between, like, the south part and Alaska? Like, is there anything, any civilization?
Yeah, the northern part of Canada is divided into three territories. They're not provinces; they're territories. What the difference is, I can't really tell you. They're just different somehow. And they do have a couple cities up there. However, they are not near. When I say city, they aren't really cities as you're imagining it, probably. Um,
They're
Nothing
like
big up
little
there.
towns.
I mean, if you go to Nunavut, which is where, like, if you went and looked at a map of Canada, is where, like, you see all those islands and broken up islands and all that kind of stuff. Nunavut is mostly Inuit, which is the natives up there. Then you have the Northwest, which is sort of between then, and then right next to Alaska, you have the Yukon territory, and that's again is pretty much dead ends. I mean, half a year long nights and half a year long days. Darkness for one half and light for the second half of the year. So you have to be very custom. It's very cold, obviously, and you'd really have to be custom to living up there where there's less people, less sunlight, less things to do, harsher temperatures, harsher weather. It, most of Canada's population lives far away from it. um,
Yeah. Well, I think we should get back on topic now.
yeah, yeah,
All right. Because the first thing we're going to talk about is Persona 5. So
yep,
basically, we talked about this when the trailer was revealed at Tokyo Game Show, and when we found out that it was delayed. I talked about my concerns for that, and I've also been worried this last between then and now because we've gotten really no news about it. Like shortly after the trailer came out, we were getting some story spoilers, which I didn't read because I don't want to spoil myself on that game because I'm really looking forward to it. But we haven't, other than that, we haven't really gotten any news on it except about a week ago, or maybe a bit less than a week ago, their website was updated and there's now a countdown on it.
yep,
And I think right
yep,
now it's like 143 hours, which is about a week. But it's
yeah,
been confirmed that the countdown is going to end with a stream, and that's what Atlas did in 2013 when they released the first trailer for Persona 5.
yep, yeah. It's um, definitely looking forward towards that and seeing what that will entail.
Hopefully, it doesn't entail another delay.
we just we just created this stream just to announce that we would play this game till next year.
I mean,
Oh, I would love to see your expression, John, if they
I will
did
be
that.
pissed.
You
You
would be
know,
so
in
pissed.
fact, you know what? If that happens, I'm gonna make one of those Hitler's react videos because that's exactly what my reaction is gonna be.
Yeah, like damn, you'd be so pissed if that happened. Oh, that would be kind of funny though.
Okay, but here's why I'm worried about the game getting delayed because before or, no, sorry, right after the game was delayed to 2016, we were getting all kinds of confirmation from Atlas like, oh, the game's finished. Team Persona is just putting the finishing touches on it. But I
Yeah.
mean, does that really take up this much time? I have a very bad feeling that Atlas has been lying about it. And that
Yeah.
the game's been in development hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Because in 2013, earlier in 2013, there was that whole controversy where Atlas went bankrupt because their owner or something was evading taxes. I'm not an expert on economics or anything, but that probably shook things up a bit. And it
Yeah.
leads me to
Yeah.
believe that they didn't actually start working on it until shortly before that trailer was announced.
Yeah, they always say, "Oh, well, none of this affects," but I mean, they don't ever release that stuff in public.
I mean,
You know,
we really got no info from the first trailer. It was just, hey, Persona 5 is a thing.
yeah, it was just an anime trailer that could have been made relatively
It wasn't
easily,
even
and
no. I'm not talking about the one from 2015. I'm talking about the
oh, the
first
one,
one. All it showed
yeah,
was a chair.
all the chair and the chains and
It's a
something
you're a
like that.
slave, want emancipation, and that was it.
Yeah, super edgy. Um, yeah, that's all we. Yeah, I'm sure the development hasn't been the easiest.
Like I'm hoping that that's not the case, but I have a very bad feeling it is.
Yeah, I just hope ultimately that this year they will come out with it.
And if Persona 5 turns out to be mediocre, or not even mediocre, just good but a disappointment, the franchise is done.
I don't think it'll be done. I think there's still be it's gone too popular, but I think it would definitely because right now like everyone's like psyched because of the success of Persona 4 and then Persona Arena and Dance Persona. Uh, I think there's like a huge craze over it now. Like people used to not probably know what Persona even was. And I imagine people who play Persona now probably still don't know what SMT is, but um,
Well, yeah, I mean,
they hear SMT and they just think Persona. Like that's all they know of.
even then, the Persona series isn't all that well known. Like I've talked to people when I go to anime conventions and I cosplay as Persona characters. A bunch of people don't know who I am, and then I tell them, "You never played the Persona games?" And they're like, "Nope, never heard of them."
Really, like I've seen a crap ton. Like I even see like I go to like Halicon, which is our biggest local convention. There's like a crap ton of merchandise and Persona stuff. I've seen a lot of cosplayers, a lot of Chies, a lot of Rize, Yukiko, a lot of Yus, and stuff like that.
Well, then again, I guess it depends on your area because when
Yeah, it could just be.
that was in Atlanta when I first started doing that. Like only 2 people recognized my cosplay.
Yeah,
But
yeah, because I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
like right now, the whole waifu, moe, girlfriend sort of relationship stuff is a huge craze. I mean, look at the freaking success of the recent Fire Emblem games. People are into that right now, and I think Persona definitely uh, appeal to a lot of those crowds with that.
Waifus sell.
Yeah,
If you
basically.
want to make your game sell, put waifus in it.
Yeah, make it very moe.
Well, I wouldn't say Persona's moe, but I'd say that's waifus.
Yeah, it's not moe to the extreme. It has a little bit, but yeah, it's definitely waifu material. The Persona waifu wars.
Just like Fire Emblem.
Yes, oh, Fire Emblem was terrible with it too.
Fire Emblem Awakening was supposed to be the last game of the franchise, but it was so
Yeah,
successful they kept on doing it.
good game, kind of overrated. Um, yeah, Persona. I think Persona's. I think it has a good future ahead of it.
Okay, but
Um,
back to what I was saying about if Persona 5 is a disappointment, the franchise is done because, like, normally I wouldn't say that, but the game's been delayed so long. I mean, take a look at Duke Nukem Forever, even though I kind of liked that game, most people didn't, and we haven't gotten a Duke Nukem game since.
yeah, I just. Oh, sorry. I don't think Persona. I have a bit more faith. Apparently, there was some extreme development hell with Duke Nukem, and
Yeah, there
not
was.
just with the delay, but apparently there was, I think it was Duke Nukem where like the developers were using money semi-legally for other projects when they weren't supposed to, and something like that. Um, but they, but I think Persona, I don't think like most people consider. I mean, I know you like it, but most people consider like Duke Nukem a terrible game. I highly doubt when Persona 5 comes out, it's gonna be a terrible game.
Well,
Um,
I don't think Duke Nukem is a great game, but I think it's overhated. Like, if I had to rate it, I'd give it a 6 out of 10.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
fun, but it's not great. But then again, I've been told by multiple people that I have a taste for crappy games. I mean, I liked Shadow the Hedgehog.
That game is overhated. Like I would argue objectively that game's overhated.
Yeah, me too. But
Yeah.
but that's kind of beside the point. I also like Darkest of Days, which I can kind of
Yeah.
understand why people hate that game. I the main reason I liked it was just because it was unique. Like, it was mixed between World War One and the Civil War. But
Yeah. Yeah. No.
go back to what you're saying about Duke Nukem.
I think Persona 5. I don't think it will suffer the same problem as Duke Nukem. I just think. I just think that at worst, like in the worst case scenario, I think Persona 5 could be like so overhyped that ends up being disappointment. Good game, just disappoint because of how hyped it is, and that's unfortunately quite a common problem with a lot of hyped games nowadays. People hype it up extremely, and then they're like when they play, it's not near as good as they thought, and it's like
A lot of those games are rushed too.
yeah. I think Persona 5 is gonna be a great game. I really do. I mean, Persona 4 and Golden, and you know, like Persona 4 was a. I'll probably get some flack for this, but at least gameplay wise, it was a hell of a lot better than Persona 3.
I wouldn't agree with you, but I mean
No,
the gameplay is really okay. The main reason I think
Persona 3 has some really shitty flaws to it that really,
are you
like the
talking
whole fact
about
that you,
Tartarus?
yeah, Tartarus
I
is
like
last.
Tartarus. I actually like Tartarus more
Really?
because yes, because
Seriously?
think about it. Okay, you go through the dungeon once and it's kind of meh, but it changes every time. It's randomly generated. So let's say you go back to grind, the dungeon is going to be different from what it was before.
But I mean, like, wasn't the same thing that happened with that game Conception 2, where the dungeons would just randomly generate every time you enter it, but it was like the same look every
Well, I
time?
mean, a lot of games do that. The Pokemon
It's
Mystery Dungeon games
boring.
do that. Well,
I hate. I
Well,
don't
okay,
mind.
I
Like,
think of it. I thought the dungeon crawling in just Persona in general is pretty shallow, but for Persona 3, the dungeons are meh, but it changes every time, so it's it's meh, but it's new. For Persona 4, it's like you go through the dungeon once and you're done. It's like,
but
and
I
Persona
find
involves a lot of grinding.
I find I really found Tartarus. Like I don't mind when dungeons, you know, like it's not like you said, it's not a new thing that games have like one dungeon just switches the format of the dungeon, like the layout of the dungeon every time you enter it. But I think it'd be better if Tartarus wasn't such a retardedly bland place. I have the music, the side of it, just like sh- it makes me want to pull a pistol in my head and shoot myself in the head. Um,
Real pistol.
real pistol in my head. So I I hate with a passion the fact that I cannot control my fucking teammates. I know apparently you said you can do it on the
Portable is the
portable.
best version.
Well, no, I'd say FPS is the best version because portable it misses it pretty much skips out from what I see in like a lot of content. Like you can't walk around the city like you normally do. Like you know how like in Persona 4 you can walk around and do tons of crap and talk to people and stuff like that.
Well,
You can do it on
Persona 3 plays
FPS.
like a visual novel.
Yeah, I suppose if you really like the visual novel more, but I prefer the other way, like the Persona 4 way. Be able to walk around, take my time, enjoy things inside, and interact with the environments more and stuff like that. FPS, but I play FPS because of that, and when I play FPS, I absolutely hate the fact that my teammates and they do the most retarded shit ever.
Maren Karin.
Like again. It was like, what the holy shit.
Kari
that
always
AI
misses,
sucks.
even though she says I won't miss. And what I don't get, why does Yukari need to use a bow when the enemy is 2 feet away from her?
Yeah.
Like, just hit the damn thing. You won't miss. It won't
Just walk up
probably
to the
won't do as
monster and
much
hit it with
damage,
a
but it's
bow.
not gonna miss.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it gets absolutely ridiculous, the AI in that game. So I found that was a really big game story. I'm sort of I sort of preferred I liked some aspects of Persona 4's story better. I liked some aspects of Persona 3's story better. I found Persona 4 had a bit better, more emotional dungeons. Like I loved Heaven. Like I loved the whole chasing down the dude's name, I forget his name, to save Nanako, and then the whole anxiety and the fact that she's dying, the fog, and all that stuff. I found that was a lot more thrilling. Um, that being said, Persona 3 definitely had some really good plot elements and some really cool stuff in it. But I think it was a gameplay that really hurt it for me with Persona 3, the combat in the dungeon.
Well, I think the combat in Persona 3 is more balanced. I mean,
Um,
most people are gonna know what I'm talking about, but okay, the strongest magic attacks in Persona 3 the severe magic attacks, they did about 600 damage. The heavy attacks did about 300 damage. And the strongest the strongest physical attacks also did about 600 damage. However, in Persona 4, the severe magic attacks for the elements did 400 damage. The strongest almighty attack also did like 400 damage. The strongest physical attack in Persona 4 did 2200 damage.
yeah.
It's like
Um,
they make physical crazy powerful so that it's the only option. And another thing I didn't like was instead of having strike, pierce, and what was it? It was strike, pierce, and slash like Persona 3. They just combined it into one thing, and that I didn't like that. It didn't make physical attackers as versatile as the magic attackers.
yeah, I'm sort of. Uh, I found Persona, like, to be honest, it's hard because I find every SMT game to be much easy once I play it enough. But I play the hell of SMT games, including Persona, and so it's not really often I actually find an SMT Atlas game actually hard, like ever really anymore.
It's like once you play an SMT game, you kind of know what you're supposed
You
to
kind
do.
of know it all. So it's like, if I play Persona 3, Persona 4 right today, I wouldn't find much of a difference in terms of like difficulty of overpowered stuff because to me, I'd be able to beat it all. Like
Even
I would
Nocturne, it's like
even
you
Nocturne.
know what
You
to
play
do.
it, you know what to do. Yeah.
Persona 3, even as individual games, Persona 3 and 4 are that hard, which is why I think they're good games to start with.
Yeah. I find Persona 3 and 4. I mean, I got into SMT initially with Persona 4.
I got into it with Persona 3.
And I didn't really have that hard of a time when I started or anything like that. And I learned some stuff, and it helped me a lot when I played other SMT games. Like, oh, I remember this from Persona 4. It wasn't like I pity anyone who never played SMT game before and starts with Nocturne. Like seriously, anyone who says start with Nocturne when someone asks, what game should I start with? No, you're basically screwing that person to hell if you say start with Nocturne. Um, But yeah, I'd really recommend Persona 3. I'd always recommend Persona 3 and 4 to start out with. Now, recommending which one of the two you start out with, that's a whole big debate.
Yeah.
That will get a whole lot of different opinions.
Yeah, well, I'm not even going to bother going into that topic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But now that that's out of the way, the next thing on our list is SMT4 Final. or is now called in the West Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. Better name than Final.
Yeah, I think so.
And
we're getting, like, we knew about this game before, but we didn't really get any information on a localized release until a couple weeks ago. And I was worried that the game wasn't going to come here at all, but it looks like it is.
Yeah, I figure it was going to. I'm mixed on it. I'm really just gonna wait until I get my hands on it.
Yeah, well,
I think it's gonna be good, gameplay wise, but story wise, the more I saw of it online from Japan stuff, the more retarded I saw it. So, like I said, I'm gonna wait for the English translation. That way, I don't have to rely on what anyone else says, and I can actually see it with my own eyes. And some of the stuff I read could be complete shit, and I wouldn't even know it right now.
Well, I've also got mixed opinions on it. Like Chris, as I told you, he was following this one guy who was playing it, and he was translating it, so he was kind of spoiling me on it. And normally, I don't really care about spoilers, so I just went ahead with it.
I got from what I've heard from other people, I pretty much have this game spoil. I mean, it sounds like not only did they fuck up a whole lot of lore from previous games, but like really badly. Someone who's like into like I've always been aligned to SMT lore, and I freaking literally wrote word for word documenting certain events of lore, to help any debates I've get with someone over it and stuff like that. It sounds like they're really contradictions going, with some really retarded stuff. That's assuming what I read about the story is correct. Again, I didn't see. I mean, I saw a bit of YouTube footage of the game, but it was all in Japanese, and I can't read Japanese, so I didn't really get much out of it. But from what I've read from some people, it's a bit retarded. However, I did notice that at least apparently there isn't actually a law and chaos ending. They're just shorter. You just get them quicker or something like that than the peace and anarchy ending.
Yeah, well,
so I don't know where the whole the only neutral ending things are going to occur in the game.
Well, earlier I said I didn't want to spoil myself on Persona 5, but that's because I've been looking.
Oh shit! Did I just spoil some shit? Crap.
I'll cut it out.
Yeah, shit.
You guys
Sorry,
aren't
man.
going to hear it because I'm going to cut it out. But as I was saying, I didn't want to spoil myself for Persona 5 because I've been looking forward to that game for a long time. Like, ever since I first played Persona 3, I've been looking forward to Persona 5. But SMT Final just kind of came out of nowhere, and I didn't really have high expectations for it, so that's why I didn't mind spoiling myself.
Yeah, just edit out the part where I said the spoiler, like, just that part. Include the stuff that I said before about like this point in the game.
I will, but
from what I read,
like even as kind of weird as it is, I think this is a step in the right direction because they're trying something new.
Well, I don't know, because even at SMT Final, it looks basically like 4.2.0. I mean, the gameplay looks exactly the same.
Yeah, but we haven't seen anything for sure yet.
For Final?
Like, I'm not. Yeah.
Or Apocalypse? Well, they have like gameplay footage of stuff like that. It looks exactly like they had that one trailer of that. It looks exactly like SMT4, like everything from like the sprites. I mean, they obviously they have like new bosses and some new demons, but I mean that's obviously expected.
Yeah, I'm talking about like statistics and stuff.
I wonder if they're going to
include. I kind of expected the game to be the same in terms of just gameplay, but one of the biggest problems I had with SMT4 was the balancing. Go ahead.
Yeah, SMT4 you could really break the game.
Yeah, it's
really break it.
Okay. The thing is, what you could do was, or what pretty much everyone did was, you'd pour like all of your stats into magic, just pour a few of them into speed, and every now and then. And you'd basically be able to just solo the entire game.
Oh yeah, like the game was, and some of the demons you can make are just like freaking like. Oh, if you ever get Uriel's DLC, the first Arcane DLC, you get that Kanuki throw move.
The move is so broken.
That was so broken, so broken. And you get some like special other skills with it that like pierce and stuff like that. Holy crap! it gets insane.
And with
But
Luster Candy, it's like, use Luster
Luster
Candy
Candy.
3 times, use Debilitate 3 times, and
Oh,
the boss is a cinch.
yeah.
Luster Candy is broken. They should just change it, make it like attack and defense or something.
I
Not
wonder,
all three
are they
stats.
are they? I can't remember if I've seen the trailer or not. Are they including the what's that thing in the game where it makes enemies invulnerable again? It's on the tip of my tongue. Like let's say you or enemies or you invulnerable, like that thing where you get like a weakness or something like that, and then either the enemy or you.
You mean the press turn? Like, you hit the
Not the
enemy's
press.
weakness, then you get another turn.
Not that. The smiley face thing that you get,
The
icon thing.
smirking.
Smirk, yeah,
Oh,
smirk.
yeah, that was bullshit.
Yeah, I
I'm
hope.
pretty sure it is. But
Oh, damn it.
I'm
That
hoping maybe they'll nerf it.
hopefully, because holy shit, that was
What it did was it basically it gave you like a 90% evasion rate and made your next attack do 65% more damage. It was broken.
yeah, it was so broken.
It's like you attack the enemy and you miss. Not only did your attack not hit and you lost 3 turns, but the enemies also might be smirking. And if you hit the
Yeah,
enemy's weakness, you also might smirk.
yeah, and especially if with SMT boss, even if you might die the first time, your chances are you're going to know what the enemy's weakness is the second time you fight it, and the boss's weakness. So uh, you just pour all your moves into that one weakness, and next thing you know, your whole team's gonna be smirking.
Yeah.
And when the enemy does some wide range attack or attacks one of your partners, he ends up losing press turns because he missed by attacking a smirking character, and it just makes it just killed it broke the game so much. So hopefully they get rid of that.
Or at
But
least nerf it.
or at least nerf it, but they really have to nerf it.
Another major problem I had with SMT4 as far as the gameplay, it was the demon stats. Like, in every other SMT game, you get a new demon, and it would have its own unique set of stats. In SMT4, you had like 4 builds, I think. You had mostly balanced with a focus on speed and a bit on strength. You had a strength with a slight focus on speed, and you had magic with a slight focus on luck. So
Yeah,
this meant you couldn't have a fast magic attacker. You couldn't have a crit machine with high attack and high luck. It was just 4 demons. You just choose one of them.
yeah, yeah.
So it
No,
really led to me just using the same strategy throughout most of the game. And there was
yeah,
really no reason to fuse different demons over the others. Like let's say you work really hard to get this special fused demon. There's really not much point to that unless he has a skill you absolutely want, or
yeah,
an affinity distribution you absolutely want. They seriously need to get rid of that.
yeah, yeah. Definitely. Just they need to do some balancing, which I'm afraid they won't do with four. Uh, but I mean, sorry, Apocalypse. But here, like I said, I'm very skeptical with Apocalypse right now. Like I was in the beginning, I'm even more now. However, I won't give obviously my final impression until I get my own hands on it. Not rely on what anyone else says or any trailers or anything, but get my own hands on it and dive into it, and then I'll be able to give my true impressions of the game.
This is just like a first impressions kind of thing. So just take what we say with a grain of salt.
Yeah, yeah, because theoretically I could possibly in a couple months be like, oh, this game's awesome. Uh, but for now, I'm remaining skeptical.
And when I saw that it was a continuation of 4, I wasn't really surprised, but I was kind of disappointed because I
Yeah, me
thought they
too.
should have just went and done SMT5, but instead they're continuing it. Which, speaking of
Yeah,
sequels, that brings back something I forgot to mention about Persona 5. Are they gonna wait like another console generation, or are they just gonna start working on Persona 6 after Persona 5 comes out?
Yeah,
Because after Persona 2, there was a really long gap between that and Persona 3, but Persona 4 came out just a couple years after.
yeah, yeah. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe Persona 5 is like a super big success, they might speed up the. They
Persona
might
6.
start speed up. I think in all likelihood, if it's a big success, I imagine they're going to be the cows won't get milked quite good. I think.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get an anime adaptation.
Anime adaptation. If we're lucky, we'll get as I've always wanted, Persona Kart. Um, Dance Dance
Persona Guard.
Yosuke. I seriously want Dance Dance Yosuke so much. Or a platform called Captain Resentiment. That would be awesome.
That's Persona 4 we're talking about. We're talking about Persona 5 spin-offs.
I know, but maybe if they might, because they still, they're still giving us freaking like Persona 4 stuff for crap long, so they might continue some of that. Has a Golden anime finished yet? I can't remember. I haven't really been paying
Yeah, it
attention.
finished a while ago.
Yeah, I thought it did.
When I
I've
first
just been,
saw that, I'm like, what? I'm like,
what,
seriously?
was it? I never saw it. Was it any good?
I never saw it either. But
Oh,
I
okay.
heard by itself it was bad. Like a lot of fans defended it, saying, "Oh, well, it's just kind of like an addition to Persona 4 Golden." But I'm like, no.
Cause the original Persona 4 anime sucked.
It was
And way
it was all
overpriced.
right. But yes, I mean, just anime in general is just overpriced.
Yeah, it is. And some
It's like they
companies are
wonder
the
why
worst.
anime is dying and people are pirating shit. It's because they charge you up the ass for it. It's like $60 for 12 episodes.
I know. I will not pay $60 for 12 episodes. I refuse. There's no way. Like, and not all companies. Like for example, I just bought I
Monster.
spent $110 something like that, and to buy a 79 episode series, Monster, amazing series, highly recommend to anyone. Um, and I got 79 episodes for for 110 or 120.
Well,
Um,
that's pretty
Now
good.
I pay
That's
like
about $2 for an episode.
yeah, and that's not too bad. Um, I go to some of the stores and I see like Persona 4, a couple episodes, 67 freaking dollars.
Well, it's not a couple of episodes, it's 12 episodes.
12 episodes, that's a couple episodes.
But it's like well, I've seen they have these. What they do is they have these box sets for some other anime, and it's like 5 episodes for $15. I'm like, really?
Yeah, no, that's a ripoff. No,
Not even 5 episodes. It's more like 4 episodes.
yeah, it's getting quite insane with some of these companies, and a lot of it's not all of it, and that's why some people always making a big deal over people um, buying a bootleg anime off eBay, something like that. You know, who cares? Because half this anime people are buying are either not sold anymore, or way overpriced.
Yeah.
I don't have sympathy when a company like trust me, people in the West, it does not cost freaking that much money to charge 12 episodes for $60+ for 12 freaking episodes. If it was like 24 episodes, then fine, sure, but
Well, Funimation has this. Well, it's for older series, but they have this thing where it's like you get the entire series, 24 episodes, for about $20. So
the classics,
yeah, it's
yeah, I have a
it's
lot
like
of them.
Save or something. That's pretty good. But
Yeah,
that's only for
Funimation.
older series. Like Persona 4 and Devil Survivor 2 are relatively new anime.
Yeah, I've gotten some good Funimation deals. They're pretty good. Um, Bandai is like freaking criminal. Uh, the amount they charge for like
And
freaking Gundam, holy crap.
the thing is, anime isn't like I like anime and everything, but in terms of sheer quality, it's not it's not very high budget. It's pretty low budget.
Yeah, exactly. compared to other forms, a video game would cost a hell of a lot more to make than anime.
Yeah, anime, contrary to what people say, anime is not a profitable market at all. In fact,
Yeah.
the reason people are saying anime is dying and we're getting a bunch of moe and fan service and harem shit, it's because they put that out so that they can raise money for the next project. Like, it's not that they're
basically
just given money by big corporations and they're saying, here's $1 million, do whatever you want with it. They pretty much have to earn all the money they get.
Yeah, but basically they appeal to perverts and people's obsession over moe crap.
Which, I mean, it sucks, but they kind of have to do it if they want to keep making quality
moe,
content.
to put it brief, moe. I saw a debate, a video debate between Gaijin Goomba and some anime chick girl. I can't remember her name. It was fairly recent. They debate about moe. I don't really watch. I didn't really watch either much, but Gaijin Goomba basically. He's a YouTuber for those who don't know. He was basically
a lot of cultural videos.
Yeah.
He used to live in Japan.
Yeah, he was pretty obvious. He was pretty openly against moe. He said in his words, pretty much killed the anime form. But he said it like this way. He said, and I really agree with this way. He put it simply. He says, moe is like junk food. We like junk food. We all like junk food. It all tastes good and stuff like that. We all like it, but it's only good for you in moderation. What's happening in the anime industry now is that it's like we're basically become the fat kids who are, they're feeding us too much moe, and we're becoming fat and lazy and stuff like that. And that's what, unfortunately, I hope that changes. I don't think it will, but I hope.
I mean, 20 years ago, it was like card games and toys and junk. And before
I
that,
still have
it
some
was
of that,
robots and mecha and junk.
Yeah, there was a lot of mecha. I freaking love mecha though, so I go back to those years any day. But I think like there's just so much moe. It's like, and the problem with moe, and I'll just say this: the problem with moe is that you can just by hearing and seeing the first scene of this character, you can tell what character's gonna be like. They have all these super archetypes that you see again and again and again. So it's like the characters they're not memorable. It's like, oh, I've only seen this character 10 times before, just with a different name in a different series. That's they lack any really depth or anything like that to them. So yeah, moe is good in moderation. It's bad how it's being acted now. So,
but it's just a trope. It's gonna come and go.
Hopefully. Hopefully, I'm hoping. Really, really hoping.
Right. Well, we kind of went off topic again, but
yeah.
I don't mind going off topic because
I don't either.
That seems to be why SMT Network is so popular. So why not?
Why not? I mean, being like, oh, guess what we hear in the news the whole time isn't all that interesting. So, yeah, no, it keeps things more personal.
I mean, the thing is, SMT is just one franchise.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot to talk about, but I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but to keep our episodes content rich, we kind of have to go off topic every now and then.
Yeah, this isn't we don't. There's not gonna be like news of SMT every week or something like that. The only reason we have as much news as we have now is because we haven't
we haven't
done a podcast in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, our next game, the one that Jeff doesn't like, is Shin Megami Tensei Crossfire Emblem, or this is now called Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
That is the most fucking stupid name I've ever heard. Holy shit! Like, what was? Who thought? Oh, it's called Tokyo Mirage Session. It sounds like fucking Tokyo massage setting. That's what I think. I think of literally the characters, rubbing each other's back. The girls, the waifu girls lying down with their bras off or whatever, and the fan service there. The guys are, oh senpai, put some sunscreen on me, and then like the senpais will be, oh, and the whole awkward while we all know deep down like, oh yeah, and. It's a stupid thing. It literally, every time I hear it, I literally think of Tokyo Massage Sessions. That's what I think of.
You didn't even know what it was called until I told you.
I know. I haven't been following it, and I haven't really cared to follow it. I mean, not only was the original concept retarded, not only did it look retarded, the trailer that E3 one or whatever was retarded. The music theme that John likes is absolutely apparent retarded, and now the name is retarded. How retarded is this game going to be? I swear, like, when I go to when the game comes out, I swear I'm going to go to the store and just write retarded scribble that over the cases of all the games, and just retarded. That's what it is. It's retarded. If you disagree with me, you're retarded.
I guess I'm retarded then.
You're retarded. There you go. That's my view of the game.
Okay, well, this game obviously has caused a lot of controversy in the community.
Fuck yes.
Like, I mean, that trailer, when we first heard about it, I imagined in my mind what it was going to be, and then we actually got the trailer 2.5 years later, and we got this. I haven't ruled it out yet. Like,
I've ruled it out.
I think the concept is pretty dumb, but I don't really care as long as the gameplay is fun, which I'm sure the gameplay for this is going to be fun.
No, I'm telling you, it's going to be retarded.
The gameplay.
Because no matter, you could have the best gameplay in the world, but if it's a whole bunch of freaking girls running around with terrible music and terrible art and terrible names and terrible content, terrible dialogue, you know what? Fuck the gameplay. The game's retarded.
I think the art is good.
No, it's terrible. It's retarded.
It's retarded because you only think it's retarded because it's moe and junk.
Oh no, it's like the fucking extreme of moe. It's like okay. Let me think. It's like think of the most moe thing out there.
I can think of a million things that are way more moe than this.
No, they're not more moe. I don't care what you say. They're not more moe. This game is.
Eyes aren't even that big on the characters. Like, that's the first thing I think of when I think of moe.
You don't need eyes. I mean, that's one characteristic, sure, but that's not the only thing. The rest of it is like, it screams moe. It's like, this isn't like, if moe's junk food, this is basically the equivalent. This game is basically the equivalent of the fat girl, the fat chick at school who's like, oh, don't call me fat, and who's really obese, like 600 pounds, because she's eating so much junk food. And in this case, this game has so much moe that, that's what this game is. It's the fat chick, the really fat chick that you knew in high school or whatever. That was like 600 pounds. That's what this game is, and it's retarded. So retarded fat chick. There you go.
Okay,
it's
well,
all better.
I think the reason is, to be serious, I think the reason this game caused so much controversy.
Oh, I'm serious.
Okay, that's great, but I think the reason this game caused so much controversy was because when they announced the trailer, they showed some Fire Emblem characters and some SMT characters.
Yes.
And they said coming soon. We got
no
info on it, absolutely nothing. Like, no art, no trailers, not even we got nothing other than the occasional.
The very original like teaser trailer that had like Demafine and some of the other characters, all like SMT, like actual standard SMT characters, not moe waifu extreme. That concept there of the actual SMT characters, that had potential in it. Like that could have been really cool.
I don't think it would have worked out well.
I don't think it would have worked out definitely from a lore perspective, but I think at least it would look cool. It might deep down kind of be retarded too, but I think it had potential. But unfortunately, they went the retarded route. So
okay. Well, the reason it caused controversy was because everybody had 2.5 years to envision what it was going to be like, and then they announced this, and it was completely different. Like, if they had announced this, like, say, a couple months after, or, like, even a year after they released that first trailer, people wouldn't have been freaking out the way they did.
Yeah.
Do you want to know why I think they released that trailer, that original one in 2013? I think it's because the Wii U wasn't doing very well in terms of sales. So what I think has happened, Iwata came in and he was like, "Hey guys, Nintendo Direct airs in 3 hours, and the Wii U isn't doing so well. We need a really kick-ass idea that's gonna get everyone hyped to buy a Wii U." So then one guy raises his hand. He's like, "How about a crossover between Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem?" And then he was like, "Oh, perfect! Make a trailer. We'll air it on Nintendo Direct in 3 hours." And then another guy raises his hand and he's like, "But Mr. Iwata, we don't know what that's gonna be like, and even if we do go through with it, we probably won't get anywhere with it for at least another 2 years." And then he's like, "Bitch, we're Nintendo. We have a fan base that will always defend us no matter what."
Yeah. No, it's. Yeah, I agree. I think that it was the whole idea of Nintendo wanted.
I can't say
something.
I can't say I'm crazy about this game, but I haven't dismissed it yet. But I do know
I dismissed it.
You suck. But I've seen people that are actually hyped for this game and they're defending it.
Oh, you know what? Such people are peasants. I'm telling you, they're. If you're use your imagination and think what I think of those people. Be creative. Be very creative in your head when I think of such people.
Okay, but then after that, they kind of just dismissed it, and then Shigeru Miyamoto was on his lunch break, and then Iwata comes up to him and he's like, "Hey, Mr. Miyamoto, so that trailer we released about a year ago, the gamers won't stop bugging us about it, so maybe we should actually go through with it. So what do you think we should do?" And then Miyamoto was like, "Oh, I have an idea. We'll make it an idol game with J-pop and girls singing in panties and waifus."
Oh, you're giving me cancer just listening to. This game's cancer. It's like. You know, Filthy Frank should do a whole episode on this game. I would. Oh, seriously, I should go tell Filthy Frank, Papa Franku, do an episode. He would tear this game apart. Oh my goodness, he would. Oh, you know what? The only way that can make this game good in my eyes if they add Filthy Frank through DLC. I'd buy it and have him sing with the girls or Pink Guy sing with the girls. I would buy it then. Otherwise, the game's returning shit. Filthy Frank needs to be added in it. Papa Franku or Pink Eye. And if anyone doesn't know who Filthy Frank is, go type on YouTube Filthy Frank Weeaboo and watch that video. Thank you very much. You're doing the world a favor.
Filthy Frank doesn't even talk about weeboos that much.
Well, he did have like Filthy Frank, Anime Hunter.
When I first heard about him, none of those videos were uploaded. Like, I remember one of the first videos of him I saw, it was him talking about hipsters.
Yeah, the first one I saw of him was the Weeaboo because a friend recommended it to me. He said, "Oh, this guy's hilarious, Jeff. You gotta watch it." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, whatever." And I watched it like, "This guy is amazing."
It certainly seems to have gotten him more popular.
Oh, like the Weeaboo video really took it off. And fun fact to those who don't know, I did not know this until even long after I found out I first watched Filthy Frank. He's the guy who invented Harlem Shake. I kid you not. Like, you know, the whole thing craze that went on for a while. He was the one who originally did it. And everyone was pretty much went crazy after it. And I had no clue he was behind that, but yep, that's where it came from. Filthy Frank is amazing.
Yeah, well, that's great.
It is great. Really great.
But, what was I talking about?
Yeah, what we don't.
I'm still going to buy this game, even if Jeff is going to hate me for it.
You know,
I think
I'm gonna rant if John buys it. We'll do a whole episode of Jeff's rant against the game and why John shouldn't have bought it.
Okay.
Fucking game. So, is there any upcoming games that aren't super retarded that we haven't talked about yet?
Um,
Anything
Not
you want to talk
really.
about? Damn it.
We just covered all three of them, but I kind of wanted that. I speaking of this game, well, I was gonna say something like I think this game is good for the Wii U, but then Jeff would be like, "Fuck you, it's not." But I wanted to.
This would be like the final nail of the Wii U's coffin. This is like the Wii U's really dying. This game, it's like this is euthanasia. You know, the Wii U's dying through terminal cancer right now, and this game is like the injection that the doctors inject with this, saying, okay, we're going to put you out of your misery. That's what this game is. Euthanasia. So when you play this game, think euthanasia.
Okay, well,
Do you know what euthanasia is?
yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, well, when Jeff regains his sanity, I would like to talk about the future of Nintendo because this isn't really SMT related, but it's just gaming related, and I
Well,
think
it's been
it's
in news.
important.
It's been on gaming news recently too. But
It's
there's been like articles.
I think it's important. I like Nintendo. Some people think I don't when I actually do, but I'm worried about where they're headed. But
Yeah,
basically,
he's a
Zelda,
GameCube fanboy.
The Legend of Zelda for the Wii U has been delayed to 2017, and the NX is also going to launch in March 2017, which is their new system if you haven't been following.
Yep. What's your thoughts about that, John?
Well, when I first heard about the NX, I'm like, "Ah, fuck, this is going to be the Wii U all over again. But then I heard some more stuff about it, and that it kind of made me feel better. And I also really like Nintendo's new president. What do you think of him?
Which one's that one again?
Um, I can't remember his first name, but his last name is Kimishima. He's basically the guy. He's kind of like a placeholder for right now, but I think
Yeah, I
he's.
don't really know much
I
about
think
him.
he's a much better leader than Iwata was.
Rest in peace,
I mean,
Iwata.
I was gonna
I
get.
really disagree. I really disagree with Iwata on so many levels, but I still feel bad that he passed away.
Exactly.
I feel bad saying bad things about him because he's
I,
dead.
I know. Well, that's what I was gonna go into. I mean, nobody deserves to die like that. I really respected Iwata. I thought he was a great person, but he was not a good leader. He was a terrible leader for Nintendo. I think he should have stepped down years ago and let somebody else take over.
I feel like crying saying that, but I agree.
The thing is, okay, a little bit of history. Like Jeff said, I'm a GameCube fanboy. I loved the GameCube, even if it didn't sell that well.
I did too.
I thought it was Nintendo's best console. The
I
Wii,
grew up with the GameCube.
the Wii, I did not like the Wii at all. They basically shit canned everything that they had building up with the GameCube, and they're like, you get to wave your arm around and play the games. It's gonna be great. And it's gonna be family friendly. Blah 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 blah. The first party support was mediocre. The third party support was
Well,
shovelware city.
I mean, we've already discussed this a lot before. I'm a lot more lenient on the Wii than John is. I'm not lenient on the Wii U. I'm not. But for the Wii, I am pretty
The Wii
lenient.
is great, and I don't think the Wii U is great, but I think it's better than the Wii.
No. I think the Wii U is like the Wii is 5 times better than the Wii U, and that's not to say the Wii was super great, but the Wii was just that bad. Um, the Wii U could have been really good. Like it could. Well, the tablet thing was sort of it wasn't the worst thing, but it wasn't the best thing. The name was terrible. The marketing name
I
that
think
was
Nintendo
terrible.
really screwed up with that.
Because even I remember when they did the first reveal. Like I remember the E3 or the conference
They
or whatever.
didn't show the console. I mean, I kind of figured out that it was a new console, but the average person watching that probably wouldn't have.
Well, even I was watching. They didn't really show much of the actual main console. They just focused on the tablet the whole time, the
Although
gamepad.
one thing I really
And
liked
it literally looked like an extension to the Wii.
Well,
It literally did.
That being said, one thing I really liked about that opening ad was like when it showed the guy holding the gamepad and he was playing the Wii U on the TV, and his dad came in, he's like, "Hey, time to put on the game, bud." And then you just switch to the gamepad. It's like, "Fuck you, Dad. I'm still playing video games. I don't have to watch your stupid football game."
Yeah, yeah.
That's one thing that's one of the reasons I think the Wii U is better than the Wii is because of the gamepad. There are a bunch of games that you can fully play on the gamepad, and I think it's really good.
Well, I don't really find the gamepad's all that great. Like, honestly, I feel like it's
a little bulky. It's kind of uncomfortable, in my opinion. But if I'm playing games on the couch while my dad's watching TV, I don't really care.
Well, I take I found the Wiimote was more fun than back when it came out. I mean, obviously motion control has been like so saturated now. That's like a whoop to do motion control. But back when it came out, I find it was far more interesting than the Wii pad that we got, Wii U pad, whatever, gamepad that we got off the Wii U. Because it was like, oh great, I've only seen a million of these before, and it wasn't innovative. It wasn't special. There's been tablet gaming. There's been tablets everywhere. You know, it wasn't a huge deal at all.
It was kind of Nintendo's way of combining tablet gaming with console gaming.
Yeah, and that's a huge mistake.
That's kind of what they're doing with the NX. They say it's going to combine mobile gaming with console gaming, and I just hope that doesn't mean another gimmick.
I don't want any gimmicks.
I'll get to that later in this topic.
But obviously, me and John disagree here. I think the Wii had a much better, more solid. Like, go for the freaking Wii U game store today. It's like GameStop today, or EB Games where I live, and the Wii U section is tiny. There's only a few games worth having. Really, the only really big thing that come out of the Wii U was Splatoon.
That's the only new thing.
And that was really the best thing, really. I mean, Smash Bros. Is inferior to Brawl.
It doesn't have as much content as Brawl.
Not near as much content. Half of it's freaking recycled. And
Brawl is a game. Brawl is a perfect example of a content-rich game. It is just drenched in content. Smash Brothers, it feels like a slightly improved version of Brawl on the Wii U.
The gameplay is a little improved. It's a little bit, but they've had some balancing issues now. Some of the new characters, stuff like that. But I felt like in terms of like stages and levels, I found the Smash Bros on Wii U it seems like freaking a core of the freaking maps are literally just from previous games, there really wasn't a whole lot of content. I even found Melee freaking had better single player stuff.
Melee is my favorite in the series.
Yeah, Melee is the favorite of mine. Probably having more nostalgia than anything, but I think Melee had the best maps, definitely.
And I also like the GameCube controller. Well, I mean, you could use the GameCube controller for Brawl, but it just felt better in Melee.
Yeah, I find Brawl was really good. Melee was good. Smash Bros. It's a good game. Like the Wii game, it's a good game. But it's the Smash Brothers we all know and love. But it's pretty much
not really
that's
much
it.
of an improvement.
It's not much of an improvement. That's all it is. And you can get it on 3DS.
Smash 64 was good, but it's kind of archaic.
I
don't think it's aged well.
No, it hasn't. It really hasn't. But yeah, and you can also get the new Smash Bros on 3DS too. So it's like, oh, you don't even need a Wii U.
I mean, it's really the same game, just the graphics aren't as good and the maps are different.
Yeah, that's it. And then that was Mario Maker is as fun as it is. It's basically a tool that
basically just
already
an overglorified ROM hacking tool.
Yeah, it's good because of the playlist and the ranking and being able to interact with other people's lists and all that. But again, you're paying $60 for something that's already been out there for quite a long time.
Yeah, well, I don't think the Wii U is exactly great when it comes to first party, but I still think it's... Well, I'd say it's about on the same tier in terms of first party support compared to the Wii, but the Wii
No, I think it's much less.
The Wii U isn't saturated with shovelware like the Wii was. Well,
but the problem with the Wii U, though, is that it isn't saturated with anything. There isn't any shit for it, really. You know, sure, the Wii U had a lot of crappy shovelware in it, but it also had a crap ton of great games. It had the Metroid Prime 3 and then the Trilogy update.
Yeah,
you know,
with
it had
shitty motion controls.
Well, no, Metroid Prime 3 worked quite well with the controls. And And don't worry, I probably prefer the GameCube controller to the Wii, but it still worked really well with the Wii controls from Metroid Prime 3. And I'm like a hardcore. I freaking love Metroid. Like, ask anyone. Um, but and it felt like obviously Wii U's lifespan is going to be going on for a lot longer than Wii U because like they've always said Wii U might be discontinued in 2018, which would not surprise me because it's only sold 12.
No. Nintendo is actually saying they're probably going to discontinue, or not discontinue the Wii U, but stop production by the end of the year.
By 2018?
No, by the end of this year, 2016.
I could have sworn I saw an article on IGN. I didn't really read it, but it literally said the title was like Nintendo CEO says I'm paraphrasing him. Nintendo CEO says Wii U production may halt by 2018. That's all I saw in the title.
Okay, well every other article I've read says it's.
I think I saw that one too, but I don't think that's the same one I'm talking about.
This is really just speculation. There's nothing been actually confirmed yet.
Yeah, it's not confirmed, and maybe I remember it wrong. But
I kind of believe it because the Wii U, even if I like it, it's a flop in terms of finances.
Oh, it's a huge flop. Literally, as of this March, it's only sold 12.8 million. That's
even
abysmal.
less than the Vita.
Yes, that is abysmal. Like, have a home console selling like that. That's a walking corpse. You know, that's it's freaking Walking Dead in Nintendo land right now.
Except for the 3DS. The 3DS still.
Oh yeah, the 3DS is doing like freaking. 3DS is basically Rick Grimes, and the Wii U is basically the walker that's trying to chase after him. It's the Wii U is a dead console. I don't see much hope for it at all. I don't expect many great games. I mean, even the Wii had like Skyward Sword, you know.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Which was a great game.
But that's mainly because it utilized the Motion Plus controls.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the Wii, you have to give the Wiimote credit where it's due, because back when it first came out, there was no other motion control. The Wiimote, when it first came out, it was new technology. It was as good as we got. It was only to I'm pretty sure it was 2010 that we got the Kinect, which did something which was a bit more original too.
We also got the PlayStation Move, which both of them
was
flopped,
complete.
But
I don't think Kinect flopped. Kinect, I think, sold pretty well.
Okay, well,
it got good support, but the PlayStation Move was like something like freaking forgot about like after less than a year.
Well, I mean, I think they're trying to bring it back now with virtual reality.
Hopefully, because I have it.
I saw a trailer for a virtual reality game, and it had the guy holding two PlayStation Plus controllers. PlayStation Move.
I got the Wii U. I got the nunchuck thing for the Wii. I'm getting my terms mixed up. The PlayStation Move. I got the PlayStation Move. I got the nunchuck thingy for the PlayStation Move. I even got the official PlayStation Sony gun sharpshooter, so I can play Killzone 3 with the PlayStation Move. But after that, they like freaking completely forgot about it. Silence. Like no game. It was dead. I'm like. It could have been good because even though it was a freaking rip-off of the Wii, it was not original in the slightest. At least it worked pretty decently. And of course the Wii Wiimote Plus, whatever it was called, worked really well.
Okay, well that's my problem with the Wii. It's the fact that Nintendo pretty much forced motion controls onto the people that had it. Like with Sony Move, you didn't have to have Sony Move. They still continued to support the PS3 without it. It was
there
an
were
option.
There were quite a few games on the Wii that you could use classic controller or GameCube.
But for the most part, Nintendo did a great job of utilizing mostly they did a great job of utilizing the motion controls for the Wii. But for other games like multi-platforms, which most of the time just flat out didn't get ported to the Wii because of the terrible hardware and the gimmicky controls, but when they did, they were terrible because of those controls and the fact that they had to dumb down the hardware. Like World at War.
I don't think it was really as much of the controls. I think it was the hardware.
I played Call of Duty World at War on the Wii. Hands
down,
I
have it too.
The worst control scheme I have ever experienced in a first-person shooter.
But I really don't think that's much.
And they also cut zombies from it too.
I really don't think that has much to do as much with Nintendo. I think that's just more lazy ass on the publisher's part, because they're the ones who, you know, I mean, look at Call of Duty, Black Ops Declassified on the Vita. Holy shit.
Well, that was kind of when that's when Activision had a third-party deal with Microsoft, so I feel like that was intentional almost.
The
But
no,
that's
I think
just something I pulled out of my ass.
yeah, I don't think it was that. I think
But
they gave it to a really shitty developer. That was why.
most of the time, but that's the thing. Most of the time, multiplats just didn't get ported to the Wii. Like,
But even the Wii U's multiplats aren't that great.
well, what I'm saying is,
Oh, they're inferior anyway.
I know that's the problem. I'm like, okay, the new game that everybody's talking about, like, Modern Warfare 2, for example, or just any multiplat, those didn't get ported to the Wii because of its gimmicky controls and hardware, so I didn't get to experience a lot. You didn't get to experience a lot of those games if your only console was a Wii.
But I mean, I can't really. I wouldn't hold that against the Wii though, because I mean, like, if we were to go use that logic, then we could like punish any Nintendo console for missing out on all these other great. I mean, the GameCube, as great as it was,
That's
missing
why.
out
Well, I mean,
on many
the GameCube
multiplats.
was missing out on a lot of them, but it also got a lot of multiplats. It got Gun, it got the King Kong game, it got, it got a lot of games. It got Hitman 2, but to be fair, there were a lot of games that were canceled because of the console's limitations.
I think I find Nintendo's always going to have every Nintendo console is always going to have a bit more of a unique library. I always find like I think in the future, and I think in as much in the past and the future, I think there's going to be a lot of multiplats that publishers are only going to keep between the three or the Xbox and the PlayStation of whatever generation that is. Unless, of course, the NX becomes super powerful, it's on par, it uses standard non-gimmick whatever the gimmick is, doesn't matter if it's whatever, a standard good controller, and a competitive online. If the NX can accomplish this, then I think other publishers will say, "Hey, we have less risk bringing this game over here. We can do it easier," and I imagine the NX would sell more. So I think that could help it, but that's only if Nintendo does those things. I don't.
Well, that's where I think they fucked up with the Wii and Wii U. They thought they could survive on just first-party support.
But that's how Nintendo's usually been, though. I mean,
well, not really, because like you take a look at the NES, it was their first-party games that made them popular, but they also had a lot of great third-party games. Same with Super Nintendo.
Going back then, it was mostly Sega versus Nintendo.
But then again, the first-party support, like I said, the first-party support for the Wii U and the Wii has been pretty pathetic compared to past consoles.
Compared to past consoles, yeah, but the Wii was much better than the Wii U. Granted, the Wii lived a lot longer than the Wii U because the Wii U is basically a walking corpse right now. They create a bunch of games in like the first year or two, and it's like, like.
Yeah, it actually had multiplats in the first year.
Yeah, it actually
had Black Ops
first
2,
year.
It had Splinter Cell, Blacklist,
Mass Effect 3, even though it was like inferior to like the other versions, but Deus Ex. But other than that, it's all. Basically, we used to like Shin. All the publishers were like, hell no, we're not bringing any more multiplats over to this console anymore. And that's what was it? Was it EA who's literally said out openly that they have no interest of bringing their games to Wii U?
Yeah,
someone said like a couple of years ago. I think it was EA.
It was either
CEO
EA or
whatever.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, it was either EA or Ubisoft. When them literally said out in public, up in the press, say, "Hey, we have no interest bringing our games to Wii U anymore."
I mean, yeah, Treyarch also said that because Treyarch has always done the ports for Call of Duty games on Nintendo consoles, like even Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 3 and Ghost. They ported the games to the Wii U, but when Advanced Warfare was coming out, they said they couldn't do it because they didn't have the time or the money for it, and it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, they wouldn't have sold a lot, so. Yeah, the Wii U is a walking corpse right now. It had potential, Nintendo fucked it up. Uh, it's not as much the console was bad, it was just the fact that it was not utilized. Nintendo screwed it up really bad. Um, Bad launch, bad
Well,
pre-release.
I thought it had a pretty decent launch.
I think because even back when I say bad launch, I mean a lot of people still at that point thought it was a freaking add-on to the Wii.
Oh yeah, good point.
Because it's like it's like, oh, the new console's launching, and people are like, wait, that's a new console?
That's one of the things I think the Wii U did a good job with. It had a good launch. Like it launched with the biggest launch title was Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. People got the Wii because they thought they were going to be getting the best version of Twilight Princess, which they weren't, but that's what they thought.
That's what they thought, yeah.
It also had Trauma Center Second Opinion. That's a really great game. Which one of the few games that I actually think make good use of the Wii remote.
Yeah, no, I don't know what Nintendo's future like. I think it's really, I can't believe they're not going to showcase NX at E3. That's just retarded.
Yeah, they're going to have a focus on Zelda. And speaking of multi-gen games like Twilight Princess, the Zelda Wii U game is also going to be on the NX.
Yeah, yeah. Which
don't...
again kind of kills. Like, why would someone buy the Wii U version when it's going to be on the newer console? Which
that's
I imagine
what I'm worried about.
Might be better. Yeah, because I imagine the NX, they're going to want to show it off in high graphics. I imagine they're going to make the better version on the NX, and that would make the Wii U version obsolete to even. And that would that's really hammering the Wii U to the grave.
Yeah, well, okay, what I'm worried about in that is it's really the NX's power. I mean, I think Nintendo does need to make a console with power compared to the PS4, the Xbox One, at least. Hopefully the next generation of consoles, but at least the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Yeah, they have to be at the very minimum. They have to be on par with Xbox One and PS4, like minimum. They cannot.
Okay,
they cannot afford to be weaker than the Xbox One or PS4.
Yeah, okay, but what I was saying was the Legend of Zelda, the Wii U has hardware that's not much better than the PS3 and the 360, and the Legend of Zelda for the Wii U was developed for that. So if they're going to be porting it, does that mean that they're going to be enhancing it, or does that mean that it's going to run on the NX is going to run on the same hardware as the Wii U?
Good question. I think they could go either route. I hope maybe it's gonna be some backwards capability thing because Nintendo's always been good like that.
Yeah.
I hope it runs over something like that. I hope it's not an indication that the NX will be only a little bit stronger than the freaking Wii U. Because that would be miserable. That's like freaking death right there. But yeah, we won't know that for sure until they give us some more specifics on Zelda and NX.
Yeah, Nintendo must have a lot of faith in this one Zelda game if that's all they're going to be showing at E3.
I know.
Well, I don't know if that's all they're going to be showing, but that's all.
I know, but
that's
most
of what they're going to have. The
it's kind of weird having
stuff.
It's kind of weird having a single game as your main focus of
E3. Yeah, I mean E3.
I mean, even the biggest games don't get that much attention to become. Yeah.
I think Nintendo is really stupid to not reveal the thing at E3, which is why I'm worried about them.
Well, yeah, they could have, all that time, they could freaking hype. E3 is less than a year away from their supposed release day of a console. If they can't show off their console before then, at least a demo or at least something before less than a year, before like 10 months before release, then I think that's a bad sign, worrying sign. They could, if they show at E3, they can start building the hype up. They can start, make a really cool demo or a really cool summon and really talk about the capabilities and then, people's questions, people will start getting hyped over, and that could equal more sales and pre-orders and yada, yada, yada. That could help out, but I don't think having some big Nintendo Direct in August is going to do as well as E3.
Nintendo's performance last year was absolutely terrible.
I know. I feel so sad that Miyamoto was dying then, and
I mean,
or
Iwata.
not Iwata. Sorry.
He even went himself. He went and said that he apologized for it and promises that
I
next year will be
know.
better. Wouldn't it be horrible to have that be your last press conference?
I know. Like literally, like the
Like
fact
it was
that
right.
that was the whole
It was
reason why
right
they did the
before he died.
puppets. That was the reason why they did the puppets because they didn't want people. It was out of respect for Iwata because at that point he was dying from cancer. Um, and to have all that and to have his last E3 conference be like universally hated upon stuff like that. I feel like I said I feel because I am a human being. I feel bad for that's not going out with a bang. That's going out with a whimper. That I feel bad for a while. I wish the the whole thing was sucked. It was a bad E3 for them. But there's always a human side of you that says, damn, I feel bad for him because people were always like raging. People were raging, and then it was outside water was died, so that people were like, oh, we're so worried about it.
Well, I don't think that has anything to do with a press conference. I mean, even then, he didn't really show up at E3 because of his health, so I don't know how much influence he had.
Still, though,
But
as
Nintendo
Nintendo
was his
CEO,
company.
he was a CEO of the company, and his last year, his last E3, the biggest conference of gaming, ended up being a universally hated upon conference from Nintendo fans. That he probably undoubtedly was really hurt by that, and for that I feel bad. I feel very sympathetic. I feel really bad for Iwata. God rest his soul. I feel bad for him.
Me too.
Um,
Even though I don't think he was a good leader, I still think he was a great person. I mean, he cut his own paycheck when the Wii U wasn't doing so well so that his employees could get as much as they were hoping. Dude, are you there? Jeff, I can't hear you. I think your mic died. Jeff, I can't hear you. I'm going to cut this out.
you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Sorry, my controller kind of went off.
Okay.
Did you hear any of that? Did it cut me off?
Yeah, I cut you off. Hello and welcome to the
Damn, why my
Heretic
controller dying? What's my
Daily.
batteries? I know, it says I have 75% power. What the hell? Maybe because I wasn't talking.
Okay,
I
well,
didn't move it around that much.
We were talking about E3 being
Yeah.
Iwata's last. That E3 2015 being Iwata's last E3 and how sad it was.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Hawaii. God bless. God bless. I mean, it wasn't a good E3 to have. It might not have been his fault either. Like, it could have been completely other stuff.
Well, it's like I said, he didn't actually show up himself because his health was bad.
But still, it was his.
But it was his company.
It was his company. You wanna what the you wanna definitely have your last year of CEO be a successful, optimistic for the future kind of one.
Yeah.
Not a really unfortunate one.
Yeah.
But yeah, enough about sad stuff like that.
But I mean, as far as Nintendo just as a whole goes, I really like them. They're what got me into gaming. I think they put out great games, but just recently I haven't been able to appreciate them the way I used to.
It was a really good article. I was telling you about this earlier. I recommend people look up. It was earlier this past week, and IGN put this article about. It was right after Nintendo released their latest financial reports, which were pretty bad, and so on IGN. Which think of whatever IGN you want, but this article was actually really good. It talked about all the problems, used like the charts and everything, showed all the problems with Nintendo and how the consoles, except for the Wii, how every console was selling ultimately less than the one before it.
I think I might have read that actually.
But then that was at the top of the article, and then at the bottom it says, okay, here's what Nintendo can do to fix it, and here's some hope for the future. So it wasn't just like doom, gloom, Nintendo's doomed sort of stuff. It was like, okay, here's some of the bad stuff that's going on. This is the facts. There needs to be change, but here's what Nintendo can do, and here's some hope that here's things that Nintendo has done that could show for a potential better future.
I bet the comment section was full of angry, butthurt Nintendo fanboys.
Probably yes. Probably yes.
I mean, that's okay. That brings up another point.
John hates Nintendo fanboys.
One of the reasons Nintendo isn't doing so well is because the fanboys will defend them. Like I said, no matter what they do, the fanboys are always going to defend them. Like, I've even heard some of them say, like, if you say that Nintendo is doing bad compared to the PS4 or the Xbox One, they'll say, oh, well, Nintendo's not part of the console war. You can't compare them. I'm like, well, that doesn't change the fact that they're losing money, and Sony and Microsoft are losing money too, but no, it's nowhere near as bad as Nintendo.
Yeah, anyone who says that's stupid because Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony are fighting over people's money and time with their consoles. People are deciding. People aren't going, okay, I have to choose between an Xbox One and a PS4 or a PS4, but I'm always going to get the Wii U. No, people are going to choose one console first, and if they have money, whatever, later on, they might get a second one. So, and in most people's minds, there's only three choices.
The PS4 was my first choice, and then I got a Wii U later.
Yeah, the PS4 was my choice too. Then I got the Xbox One next, which was better, in my opinion, so far anyway. And then I got the Wii U just this past year, like this past December. I got the Wii U, and I've got some enjoyment out of it. Like, I've been very negative on it, but I got some enjoyment out of it. I'm not going to trash it or anything like that.
Yeah, and another thing is, unless you have a partnership with them, if you're in the same industry and in kind of the same position, you're kind of competing against them by default.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like if I opened up a Starbucks across from a Caribou Coffee, and then I said, oh, I'm not here to drive you out of business. You could just keep doing what you're doing. It's like, whether that's my intention or not, it's going to affect him in some way.
Exactly. Yeah, no. Nintendo fanboys, yeah, it's all a competition. People are going to choose between Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo consoles, and that's just how it is.
But the thing is, because of the fanboys defending them, Nintendo hasn't been able to learn from criticism.
I don't know if they even read. Like, I don't even know if they care or read about what the fans say. I don't know. All I know for sure is the fact that the Nintendo fanboys are probably the most obnoxious of the.
They are by far the worst.
It's like just how far they go to defend Nintendo with the lamest excuse. Just like, it's like, really? Am I talking to a little child here or something like that?
Yeah, and
I probably am.
And if they do acknowledge that Nintendo isn't doing so well, they blame the consumer. They say, oh, well, the Nintendo's all about originality. The consumers are stupid because they're choosing Microsoft and Sony, which are just lame PC emulators, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking...
Yeah, gimmicks, innovation, woo!
You cannot deny that Nintendo fucked up. I mean, as my dad says, the consumers are almost never wrong.
Yep, customers are always right. Consumers will vote with their wallets, and Nintendo's learning that the hard way right now with the Wii U.
Yeah.
If the Wii U was as good as Nintendo fanboys were saying, they would not be selling only 12.8 million. And not only that, but Wii U came out before PS4 or an Xbox One. You know, it got the freaking head start.
Kind of like the 360 did, which is, I think it was one of the reasons it sold the best out of the three. Well, sorry, there's the Wii, but compared to the PS3, it sold more.
Yeah, a lot more. For PS3 really caught up near the end. That was pretty much.
But the 360, I'm pretty sure the 360 is still in the lead.
Yeah, I haven't seen this. I haven't seen the statistics in a while. Like, I don't know. I heard a long time ago that the PS3 took the lead, but I don't know. I have no clue which one sold more now. But at this point, I don't think many people care.
No.
Now it's Xbox One and PS4.
Even last generation, people didn't really talk about the Wii that much. I mean, the Wii sold like crack in terms of hardware, but in terms of software sales, it was pretty pathetic. Like, the 360 actually sold more software than the Wii.
Yeah.
And if you don't count Wii Sports, which, let's be fair, I don't think we should, because that game was literally force-fed to every single person who bought the system, it also sold less than the PS3 for software.
Yeah, no, I agree.
That's one of the reasons I don't like it. I mean, everybody got hyped up and bought one, and they enjoyed it for a little bit, but after that, nobody really gave a shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really how I feel about Nintendo. I also feel that their games have kind of I'm not going to say they've gotten bad, but they've kind of strayed from what I liked about them. I mean,
yeah,
my two favorite Mario games are Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine. Those are both great games. They're really big, with really big explorable worlds. But Super Mario Galaxy, what that game did was it didn't really have a lot of exploration. It just replaced it with planet hopping.
I like Galaxy. I found Galaxy was a lot more better received from people than Sunshine was, but I prefer Sunshine. Sunshine was brutally hard though at times.
Yeah, especially
like
with those.
when you lose Flood, holy shit, that's a freaking Bowser Jr. running stealing your Flood jetpack, dude. Ugh.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass. Huge pain in the ass. But what's any other games you've been interested in lately? Talk about console.
Not really. I mean, that's one of my problems with the PS4. I think it doesn't really have a lot of exclusives coming up that I'm looking for.
Yeah. A lot of people say Bloodborne, but I don't really have much interest in Bloodborne. That's the only really games I've played and got much enjoyment out.
The thing is, Bloodborne is already out.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, exclusives like what they have right now. Like, exclusives. The only really two PS4 games that I've really got much enjoyment out of, exclusives, PS4 games, was Killzone Shadowfall, which is underrated in my opinion, and Infamous Second Son. And Infamous Second Son is purely single player. It's not multiplayer at all.
I'm really talking about the future of the PS4. I mean, it has
Uncharted,
which everybody. It's Sony's second most popular franchise, so I'm sure it's going to do well. But personally, I'm not really all that excited for it.
What's their most popular?
Gran Turismo.
Really? I don't say Uncharted more popular than that. I mean, Gran Turismo was really up there, but I remember like the freaking fanaticism after Uncharted 2.
Okay, well, I don't know about popularity, but just in terms of sales, Gran Turismo is more popular. It's better in terms of sales.
Okay. I really like Uncharted. I really enjoyed it. Sorry, enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the first three Uncharted games. It's very much Indiana Jones of gaming. I love that. That's super cool. I look for Uncharted 4, but I mean other than that, I cannot think of anything. Multiplayer wise, I don't see many unless I don't really see a whole lot of good exclusives on PS4. On Xbox One, I'm playing like Halo like crazy because it's amazing. Uh, but yeah, yeah. You should get an Xbox One, dude.
In retrospect, I wish I'd gotten an Xbox One instead of a PS4.
Like, me and you could be like chilling out in Halo 5 right now, doing awesome Warzone and arenas and Forge mode and
There
bunch of shit like that.
actually, there is this store close to where I live that has an Xbox One for. It's kind of beat up and it's used, but it works. It's $220, and every once in a while they have this time where they hand out these 50% off coupons to people who are subscribed to their newsletter. So I'm probably gonna wait for that to happen to get it.
Yeah, you should really get, dude. You'd love it. And for like a price like that, like 50% off something like that, that's freaking awesome. That's a
Yeah.
steal.
So I'm just waiting for that opportunity.
Yeah. Anything else? Any other? I don't suppose we have any emails.
No, we don't. But if you could email us, that would be great. We'll read
Yes,
the email.
ask us anything. Ask us what we have for breakfast in the morning if you want to. Like, say something, or we're giving up on you. Or, no, we're just kidding. We won't give up on you.
All right, well, anyways, this has been the Heretic Mansion. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.